Hi. Hello. This is the Pride of Detroit POD cast. PrideofDetroit.com. Pride of Detroit on Twitter. Pride of Detroit on Facebook. Hi. We got a goddamn trade.
Wee woo, wee woo.
We got a trade. Open up the box. What's in the box? It's a trade. You got an Everson Griffen. Congratulations, Lions. You have decided here in October 27th, 2020, the year of our Lord, they're sitting right in front of you. You've decided to make a trade, Everson Griffen, for a 6th-round conditional pick. And guess what? For the next 30 minutes, we're going to be talking about it here on the Pride of Detroit PODcast. I'm Christopher Fett, your adequate host. That man next to me, if you're watching live on twitch.tv/Pride of Detroit, where you should be, but also download the podcast on every platform you can, is Jeremy Reisman, the fearless leader at Detroit Online. And beneath me, not physically, but, you know, just in the Twitch layout, the Discord layout. What do you want from me? God, is Ryan Matthews, the rock god, at Ryan_POD. Guys, today's fun. We get to talk about interesting moves and stuff.
I love myself an emergency podcast. That almost always is good news, and I think today definitely qualifies as good news. They're down. We shouldn't be necessarily throwing a parade quite yet, and we'll get to that. But the Lions went and added a pass rusher, and a pass rusher that we're all familiar with, a pass rusher that we all know was very talented, at least in the past. Still in the future, we'll see. But the Lions were aggressive. They made a move, and it didn't cost them all that much. So I'm feeling pretty good right now. How about you, Ryan?
I'm not going to be a Debbie Downer, which
yes!
I usually am.
Yes.
So, I mean, of course, I have my reservations about it from what I've seen on Lions Twitter. But that's just kind of like the id of, Lions fandom we always speak of. But I think what the Lions did was they made a move, and I wasn't sure whether or not they would do anything. So I think making a move definitely tips the needle in one direction, and I like that they did something and that they actually decided to move the needle.
It definitely has some. It's funny about moving the needle. So Everson Griffen, Lions are getting him from the Cowboys. I think there's some questions about what kind of Everson Griffen are you getting? You're definitely not getting Griffen at the height of his powers, I would say.
Sure.
He's
32.
It's been rough. He's 32. His play in Dallas has been rough, to say the least.
Yep.
But I think the price was right here. A 6th-round conditional pick to Dallas. The Lions need some help on their edge rush. I think this was a flyer. The Lions were right to do it. I think we worry too much about the cost sometime and about the what ifs and the, hey, it would be nice to turn this into something. But I think we talked about this in the previous mailbag. We were like, hey, the Lions traded this one draft pick and it turned into Will Harris or something. Just, you got to especially if it's 6th-round conditional, just go for it, man. In the words of Ja, was it Ja Rule at Fire Festival? Let's just do it and be legends, man.
There you go.
I'm not sure if this will end up being quite. Hopefully, it doesn't end up so infamous as Fire Fest. That's
yes.
for sure.
But, hopefully, he doesn't turn out to be the cheese sandwich.
Yeah. But yeah, giving up a conditional 6th-round pick for Everson Griffen, it doesn't involve much risk. So that's why I'm cool with it. He, as we mentioned, he's not the player that he was in years before when he was absolutely terrorizing Detroit. And the reason why Matthew Stafford was getting x-rays to his ribs because he was just, relentlessly putting so much pressure on the guy that, he set him up in the x-ray machine. But he's going to be a welcome addition to perhaps one of the most, if not the most starved pass rushes in the entire NFL. So I think that's where you start with Everson Griffen, is that low risk. I'm not even going to call it a low risk, high reward move. I'm just going to say it's a low risk move that, you can live with him not living up to being a 6th-round pick because you're not hitting on too many 6th-round picks these days.
And, I mean, the value's there, even if he isn't the Everson Griffen we saw a couple of years ago in Minnesota, or even, the first half of last season in Minnesota, he's an improvement because the Lions are dreadfully thin at defensive end. They're playing okay right now, and I even just put out an article about how great Romeo Okwara has been, and Trey Flowers has been fine too, but where's the depth behind that? Because they had, Julian Okwara was the plan there. Austin Bryant was the plan there. Both those guys are injured right now. Maybe we see Austin Bryant eventually come back on the field, but remember, he's still essentially in training camp mode right now because he missed all of training camp. He returned to practice last week. He's still a couple weeks out, I think, from returning from IR. So now at least you just have another piece there. And it's probably a guy that's better than both Julian Okwara and Austin Bryant where they're currently at. So, I mean, it's depth. At the very worst, it's depth for half a season, and I'll take that for $1.5 million, $3 million, whatever it's going to end up costing line in cap space, which is not much. And then, as we said, that draft pick is throwaway. Even if it becomes a 5th round pick, throw away. I don't care.
Yeah, this was low risk, potentially high reward, and it's the kind of move you want to make right now. As you say, the depth isn't great for the Lions right now. This is still not a great pass rush. You need the help. It's funny, Ryan. We were just working on pulling back the curtain a little bit. We were literally just working on a roundtable today about, hey, what should the Lions do in free agency? And besides a couple of, I think we talked about this in the mailbag too. Besides a couple of corners we threw in there, a lot of it was edge rushing, and I even once again got back on my horse about JJ Watt. Let me just say this is a lot cheaper than JJ Watt, and they're about the same age. And I mean, look, it's going to be rough to see if Griffin can get back to what he was in Minnesota. Lions fans remember it pretty well because Griffin always played like a hell beast against the Detroit Lions. So you kind of remember those a little bit more when he's beating up on your team. But I think, yeah, I mean, you got to weigh what he's been doing recently. It might not pan out to be anything. Sometimes some of these trades, Jeremy, I know you have something to say about a trade made by the Lions in 2018, just don't work out, even though it's like, hey, this looks great on paper. But again, 2 things. One, the price ain't that bad, Chief. It's a pretty damn good price to give up. The Cowboys are desperate to get whatever they can. And these are the kind of moves you want to make right now. Like, if you are serious about saying, hey, we're around, we're serious about actually trying to win and turning around the narrative.
He traded Quandre Diggs for a meatball sub.
Yeah, and with the trade deadline right around the corner, the thing every year is that you need to have 2 dance partners, and this was just a situation in which the Cowboys were ready to be sellers. Their season isn't going anywhere, and that's saying a lot for a team in the NFC East, that they don't view themselves as being viable contenders for that division. So like you said, Chris, they want to get anything that they could for Everson Griffen, and a 6th round pick is hardly anything at all to give up for Everson Griffen. And I don't know if we want to get too much into what his role is going to be here in Detroit now, or if we want to talk about that on the other side of the break. But I'm excited to see what he can add in terms of depth, as Jeremy said, because the other thing is, you mentioned the injury to Okwara and he's on IR. Austin Bryant just coming back. A lot of this defensive, or some of the pieces of this defensive line necessarily can't be trusted to stay healthy, like Deshaun Hand. I mean, are you counting on him to be a contributor for the rest of the season when he hasn't played an entire healthy season in the NFL? It's gonna be a nice addition to a defensive line that had no depth whatsoever, and had some potential contributors. I mean, can you count on the same level of contributions that Romeo Okwara has been putting in? You haven't seen a sustained level of play. You've seen the short little burst from him where he's been a good pass rusher, but is this something that you're going to be able to count on in weeks 14, 15, and 16?
I think that's true of a lot of these kind of random pieces the Lions have picked up over the years too. And it's something that will hurt them at times. And I mean, look, it's very hard to find players in the NFL that are going to be consistent weeks 1 to 17 at the end of the day too. I think let's get onto that right now, though, as where Griffin will fit. We've got about 5 minutes left in the segment. Let's do it right now. Where we think Griffin's going to fit this. What do you think, Jeremy?
Yeah, well, I think he's going to be a good fit. I know he's mostly playing 4-3 over there in Minnesota, but the Lions really like to mix things up. They play 4 down a lot. I think when you first get him, he's essentially just going to be a pass rusher. He's going to be a situational pass rusher. He's not going to take Trey Flowers off the field. He's not going to take Romeo Okwara off the field. He's going to be on the field with those guys in third down because they like to just throw every pass rusher they can on obvious passing down. So the key will be for Lions to keep this run game going, the run defense going that they have in the past couple weeks, get into those obvious passing downs. And what I think they're really going to like about Everson Griffen is, yeah, he might not have the speed that he used to. He might not be able to beat guys off the edge, but he's still got the strength. And that, I mean, I think back to the highlights of Matt Patricia coaching the Senior Bowl, and he's telling the defensive ends, like, don't beat guys with your speed, beat them with your strength. And that's what he's going to take. That's what he's going to love about Everson Griffen, and that's why they traded for the guy. He's going to beat guys with his strength that I think he still has at his age. And so I think they might use him kind of all over the place. He might be, 1 tech, 3 tech, 5 tech, wide 9 even. I know you guys love wide 9 back to the Jim Schwartz days. He's going to be all over the place, and I think it's going to be good for them because I don't think they have a plethora of pass rushers, especially if they incur any sort of injury. So I think early on you're not going to see a ton of production out of him in terms of being out there all the time, but I think situational pass rusher to begin with. Then they'll kind of see what he's got. Maybe they get him into some early downs later in the season, but early on I think he's going to be your situational pass rusher, and I think he's going to be effective.
Yeah, I could see them. We were even talking before then about, I thought, it's like, hey, we're going to have Flowers, Romeo Okwara, and Griffin out there. I mean, on here, how do we put up the pass rush? And you were even telling me, Jeremy, like, we could honestly see put Flowers in at the nose tackle.
They do that, yeah. And
then just, go with all of those guys out there. Okwara looked really good against Atlanta. Like, if you can get all those guys working at the same time, that's kind of that would be a good end goal there. We're starting to see guys getting a little more comfortable with this defense again. Yeah, what you got for me, Ryan?
I was just going to bring up some of the stats from PFF because I know people love those. But a 56.6 overall grade for Everson Griffen so far in 2020 in his time with the Cowboys. And we mentioned this earlier at the top of the segment that his time in Dallas has been a little bit lackluster. But I think the most important thing, and I know we're team don't care about sacks. I mean, sacks are such a unpredictable and just kind of like a random stat of sorts that doesn't really give you a great idea of how good somebody is at pass rushing necessarily, because those could be coverage sacks. Though, I mean, it's a very misleading stat. But the statistic that PFF shot out from their Twitter account at PFF_Lions was 12.9% pressure rate, and that's 26th among edge defenders, and that would be the second best rate on the Lions. So the thing is, I completely agree with Jeremy. Like, I think that Everson Griffen is not going to come in and be a starter. He's not going to come in and play starter snaps. He's going to be a situational pass rusher that's going to come in on second and long when teams are passing or third down, and they're just going to let him pin his ears back and go after the quarterback. I'm totally cool with that. The Lions didn't really have a guy like that. I mean, Romeo Okwara was doing it, but he was doing it in a limited capacity, and we haven't seen him do it for a sustained period of time. Trey Flowers was paid to be that guy. Trey Flowers can't do it on his own, and Trey Flowers is asked to do so much more. And at this point in his career, Everson Griffen, he's not the run defender that he once was. He's not going to do any of that. So I'm not calling him a one-trick pony, but he's going to kind of fill that role, don't you think, Jeremy?
Yeah, absolutely. And I think maybe one of the keys here, and this could be also something that makes Lions fans a little concerned, is we've seen the Lions defense over the past 2 weeks get a lot more aggressive, right? They're mixing up their pressure looks. They're sending more blitzes. Having a guy like Griffen now in that pass rush package means they don't have to do that as often. Means maybe they can just rush 4. And I know that's going to set alarms for people. They're like, no, keep being aggressive. Keep doing pressure. Keep sending more guys. But if you got more, I think that in an ideal world, Matt Patricia wants to send 4 and get pressure so that he can have all of those guys and the 7 other guys in coverage. Maybe do more man coverage. So I think this gives them that opportunity to be the defense that Matt Patricia wants them to be and be more effective than they have been in the past.
Yeah, leave some more linebackers in coverage so you stop having situations where Calvin Ridley is like constantly open over the middle or something.
Sure.
Like, just have more. You don't need to worry about that too much. And like, it is cool when Tracy Walker comes in for the blitz, but it when you need it from the coverage, by all means. I want to take a break here. When we come back, I want to talk about where the Lions go from here, because I believe they're not done, or they shouldn't consider themselves done after this. There's still a lot of work to be done, but we'll talk about that and talk about more on Griffin when we come back here. We're going to take a quick break on the Pride of Detroit POD cast. 30 seconds. We'll be right back. Okay, Twitch Voodoo time.
Yes, let me catch up on alerts. We had a lot of
I
them.
thought there was a hype train.
Yeah. Let's go with the subs first. Matt, thank you for the 3 months. Then we got the respected Madmen, a good friend on Twitter, with the 6 months. He says 100 sacks because of the he must be getting his notifications, because I may have thrown something in there. CJ Craig with the 8-month subscription. Zeus the Halus Goose with the 6 months, but it's really even longer than that because he's subscribed as Zeusifer before that. Nick the Greek gave us 300 bits. I'm sorry, I had to stop the text to chat alerts. It was getting a little distracting, but I appreciate the 300 bits nonetheless. And then T-Design with the 2 months. He says, is this a good addition? Glad they were buyers, but I'm worried to see what he does. Here's the thing. You're right to at least have some concern about him. He was not effective in Dallas. I think they weren't using him quite correctly. They had him standing up more so than having his hand in the ground.
Mike McCarthy not knowing what to do with personnel. Oh my God, colored me shocked.
Exactly. But I mean, even like if you read hopefully, yep, there we go. So I just linked an article in our chat. I had a quick conversation with Arif Hassan, the athletic writer for the Minnesota Vikings. He gave me a full breakdown of what he thought of Everson Griffen and his last few years with Minnesota. He said like he came out 2019 firing, but by week 10 he lost all his juice, and so there's right to be concerned there. But like I said, he said he's still got the power. He's not going to be a 10-sack guy. He's not going to be that guy, but he's better than I think what the Lions got. I think, if you were to throw all the guys out there right now on the Lions love to throw at least 4, maybe sometimes 5 pass rushers out there on 3rd and long. Who are those guys right now? Trey Flowers, Romeo Okwara. I'm already running out of names. That's the problem.
And I'm going to keep coming back to it. You got him for a $2 scratch-off lottery ticket.
Yep.
You spent nothing on him. A 6-round conditional. Conditional means the Lions might not even get that 6th round. I don't even think give away that.
It's conditional 6th or 5th. If he meets
6th or 5th, yeah.
So if he meets certain conditions, then it bumps up to a 5th,
cool.
but it's at least a 6th.
That conditional is still no better than day 3 in the draft. And I'm sorry, the chances that you're going to get some sort of amazing return on a day 3 versus a veteran presence on your edge.
Yeah, I mean,
take that every time,
right,
man.
Even if it's only for 10 games, but P. Curry listed the Lions 6th round picks under Bob Quinn. Ready for him?
Oh boy, my favorite.
Jimmy Landis.
Jimmy Landis is on that list.
Jimmy Landis.
I wonder if I can name him.
Jake Rudock, Anthony Zettel, Jimmy Landis, Jeremiah Ledbetter, Brad Kaya, Travis Fulgham, Ty Johnson, John Pennicini.
Don't say
That's actually not bad. That's actually not bad.
Really?
Brad Kaya and Jake Rudock.
Jeremiah Ledbetter? Tell me where Jeremiah Ledbetter is right now.
The Lions basically lose their 6th rounder that they usually spend on a quarterback.
I'm saying Ty Johnson's still in the NFL, and I mean he didn't stick around here just because they decided they wanted Adrian Peterson.
You're right.
Travis Fulgham is
the best wide receiver ever.
Yes, essentially.
Sure.
John Pennicini is a contributor.
He is.
I mean, I'm not saying it's not just
He's a contributor to our Twitch War Fund, because every time someone wants us to say his name, they give us bets.
Okay. Well, I'm just saying, a 6th round pick, I don't think it's a very valuable thing, but I'm saying that they have gotten contributors, people who have played, people who have been on an NFL field. There are other organizations that draft 6th rounders that don't ever see the field.
Sure.
I mean,
but
out of everybody you listed, Brad Kaya and Jimmy Landis were the only ones who I don't think played an NFL game.
Did Jeremiah Ledbetter? I don't know. I guess he did maybe for a little
Ledbetter
bit.
played
as
for.
Porty's
played
saying,
some
he
snaps,
plays
right?
for the Bucks right now.
Oh, is he actually playing?
I'm not sure. But I guess my point is all that is well warranted, Ryan. I would argue, though, however, you can also say that about Everson Griffen.
Which Everson
football?
Griffin?
The current one.
I don't know. I'm not saying that like it's worthless to trade for Everson Griffin. So.
No. I know. I just don't see a lot of the value in that 6th rounder right now versus a value that is kind of known right now, even one that is fairly diminished in its particular value.
Yeah, I'll trade a conditional 6th round pick for a one-dimensional pass rusher if he's really good at it.
And
I mean,
I'm starting to sense some sarcasm over some snark.
No, I'm being serious.
Okay.
He's 26. He's 26 amongst edge rushers in pressure rate, like I just said. So I mean, like, I'll take a one-dimensional guy if he's going to contribute to a team like that. That's the other thing that we need to talk about on the other side of the break. Like, Bob Quinn makes this deal not just to save his job, but like it makes the team better, and it doesn't really do anything long term. So like, I mean, I don't think he's going to make a big splashy move because I don't think that they're going to let him trade a 2nd or potentially a 1st round pick to get Quinnen Williams or to get Stefan Gilmore.
And plus,
well,
I think
let me ask this then. Like, I mean, because you say it's 27th round, but I'm not sure where you would even rank some of the guys who that Griffin would be taking the place from on this depth chart too. Like, I mean, again, Julian Okwara still hasn't seen the field. And Austin Bryant.
Right. No, he's saying 27th is good. Yeah. Pass rush rate of 27th is good. I mean, that's
amongst all edge defenders in the NFL.
Which is like 80, 90.
Starter, yeah.
But what I was going to say is like, I don't even know if Bob Quinn would really like. I think there's this narrative out there that Bob Quinn wants to like sell the future to save his job now. But
that didn't happen here.
This not in this situation. There's still time.
Well, no, I'm saying no. I know this is not that situation, but I don't think he's going to do that. I don't think he has the motivation to do that because, okay, so then you just create a crater for yourself in the future. Like you save your job now to make it worse on yourself later.
Yeah,
that doesn't make a lot of sense.
I think in that argument where people do say, "Hey, you're selling the future to win now," you can apply that more to baseball, where that did happen with the Tigers, where they did basically sell out their entire farm system to try to win now with proven commodities. And that did end up biting them for long term. I don't think you can really do that in the NFL because you don't have a farm system to sell like that.
Yeah. And
things
draft change
picks,
so much year to year
you get draft picks every year. So
Sunny D, thank you for the follow. And so D-Champ as well, and all the big follows we got right before we went live. I'm not going to say all of you, but we appreciate you. And if you want to follow the channel, you don't know how, if you're new to the Twitch channel, boom. All you got to do is hit that follow button, the little heart, and then a little bell's going to pop up. That's for notifications. So if you have the Twitch app on your phone, which is free, you get notified every time we go live. I'm doing a lot of fun with little Twitch notifications every time we go live. So if you want a secret little message that only our Twitch followers get, download the app, follow us, and you won't miss a single show. That's all I got. You ready to get back into it?
Yeah, I need to find a timer for the second segment.
Jessica, thank you for the follow.
Oh my god.
Appreciate it. Free gaming laptop ads with a rainbow keyboard? You mean a rainbow keyboard like this? Ooh.
I don't have mine set for rainbow. I do have a new case with RGB fans on it though, and they're fantastic.
Nice. You got scammed on your Listcast redemption? What did you when was that?
The problem is you guys got to tell us what you want that Listcast to be. When you redeem it, you have to say what you want it to be. You just can't redeem it and then walk away.
Oh, and someone did request this Azzy cameo. He's right there. There he is.
There he is.
Hi, buddy.
Didn't even notice this.
Hi, we're talking about you.
Ruby is, but I can see he is lying on top of my couch.
Top 5 Matthew Stafford throws of all time. How about we do that after? I'm willing to do that after this segment. I'll think about it. I don't know if I can come up with 5, but I'll try. Deal?
Let's go. Hold on 1 second. Just answering something. Okay, let's do it.
Got a couple good questions in chat too that we might want to address. I can bring up if we need time, or we can do it after.
Yeah. I'll keep an eye on it. So I think first 5 minutes we'll do what do the Lions do next. Second 5 minutes, I think Ryan's concern. What was it again? Just to jog my memory. I'm sorry, my caffeine's wearing off.
I don't really have a concern.
You had some question I really liked, and now I'm trying to remember what it is.
What's up, Killer B?
We'll see where it goes. Second 5 minutes will be free form, and then last 5 minutes just questions.
Hold on, we got some gifted subs. Luckily, I was watching chat, so that one didn't catch me as off guard as some of the other ones. But KD Frami with the 5 gifted subs, dude. Thank you so much. Appreciate it. They were tier 2 subs too, by the way. Yikes. Thank you, Katie. Appreciate that, man. He's been subbed for 12 months. Wait, no. I'm not sure if are you subbed to you're only subbed to the channel for a month, so you're a newbie. Giving out tier 2 gifted subs. Appreciate it, man. That's awesome.
The man.
Okay. And back again on the Pride of Detroit PODcast Emergency Edition as we talk about the Lions trading for Everson Griffen because, we just boot this thing up whenever we want to talk. That's what it is. So again, whenever this stuff goes down, check out our Twitter at Pride of Detroit and look for when we talk about, hey, we're going to go live on Twitch, twitch.tv/Pride of Detroit or if you follow us on Twitch, you can be alerted whenever we go live. And when we go live, it's usually because we want to hang out with y'all, or it's time to talk something like this. Guys, I do want to ask because as I've been harping on, I think the best part of this trade for Everson Griffen is that the Lions didn't give up much. However, I don't think if I was the Lions, if I was the one in charge of the Lions, if I am in that mythical spot where every modern fan wants to be, not in the shoes of the player, but in the shoes of the coach or the general manager, I would not be done after Everson Griffen. I think there's still some capital out there that the Lions can spend. They don't need to give away the house, but there are definitely things the Lions can spend to continue, for me, to shore up the defense because that's supposed to be the best part of this team. It's currently not. I think there's some problems with the offensive line too, especially on the right side, but I don't think you can fix that midstream at this point. You kind of have to hold on to your butts. But I would still be interested to see the Lions go and pick up like a linebacker or a cornerback right now. Do you guys feel that same way, or you think the Lions they've done the damage they need?
Well, I mean, let's be clear. I don't think Everson Griffen makes them a Super Bowl contender. I don't think we're at that level.
But
I mean, in an ideal world, yes, they go out and get a linebacker that comes in, and suddenly they're a great defense, and suddenly the offense clicks, and maybe they're not just a playoff contender. They're a postseason contender. But I kind of think this might be it, if I'm being completely honest. I don't think this team is necessarily capable or in a position to make a big slash, spend a first rounder on someone like Stefan Gilmore, or go out and get, whoever's. I mean, the question is who's out there. Like, we don't even know. Quinnen Williams, a lot of people are talking about. There's reports that he's not available. There's reports that he is available. I don't know. I think the Lions just made a nice little kind of blip on the radar move that fits a big need, that doesn't cost them much, and that's what you do. I mean, not every team can go out and just make a big splash at the trade deadline. I know it's been more active than it has in previous years, but I think this is a good start. And the issue is we're so early in the season at this point, especially considering the no off season. I think a lot of teams are just still trying to figure out what they've got and the guys that they've got. And the Lions are just starting to find things that are clicking. They're starting to see that Romeo Quar is clicking. They're starting to see that maybe Reggie Ragland deserves more snaps than a guy like Tavai or Davis or Christian Jones. I think they're just going to develop the guys they've got. And why like get a veteran corner when you want your guys like Jeff Okudah and Amani Oruwariye to develop? I think they've got enough to contend for the playoffs this season. And then why spend future resources beyond that? Because I don't think this team is going to contend for a Super Bowl. They might contend for the playoffs. They might get to the playoffs, but like you still have to keep the future in design. So like I'm kind of fine with where they're at, and I think they're going to be fine with where they're at.
Yeah, and I think a lot of people are already forgetting how ready they were they were to move on from Darius Slay. And if you're interested in getting a guy like Stefan Gilmore, he's on the wrong side of 30. And I'm not saying that Gilmore is washed by any means, but I am saying that if you're making an investment in somebody like a Stefan Gilmore, it's going to cost you a lot. I mean, you're talking probably at least a second-round pick, if not a first-round pick, because this is a guy who was an all-pro. I think he was the Defensive Player of the Year last year in 2019. So you got Stefan Gilmore on the market, apparently, but he's not going to come cheap. And, like Jeremy said, I think with the limited offseason, I think a lot of teams are really just finding out what they have. And there are some teams that are absolute tire fires, like the Dallas Cowboys, and the Lions went and they got one of their best players. So, that's just what it was. Now, is Griffin going to be enough to turn this team into a Super Bowl contender? I'm with Jeremy. No. I don't even know if the Lions can contend for the playoffs just because of the hole they kind of dug themselves in the beginning of the season. But I mean, it remains to be seen. Maybe Everson Griffen is the magic elixir to the Lions pass rush, and all of a sudden it goes from really, really bad to average. If the Lions pass rush goes to average, all of a sudden you're not so worried about Amani Oruwariye and Jeff Okudah as your starting cornerbacks because there's a pass rush. And if any of us were around for 2014, we saw what a pass rush did for the cornerbacks that season. I mean, that was the year of Rasheed Mathis and Chris Houston and a young Darius Slay. Like, I mean, that wasn't necessarily a secondary to write home about, but when you had the likes of Ndamukong Suh and Ezekiel Ansah and Nick Fairley all pushing up front, like it made a huge difference. The Lions don't have that, and I'm not saying Everson Griffen is going to be that, but if the Lions can develop some sense of a pass rush, it improves the rest of their team.
And I mean, really quick, just like, I mean, if you kind of scope out and look at their defensive line, you look at the way that John Pennicidi is playing, you look at the way Deshaun Hand just had a really good game, and Danny Shelton, you throw in Trey Flowers and Everson Griffen on the side, and that's not really a bad-looking defensive line. I would say, like, if all those guys are firing on all cylinders, we love to talk about cylinders here on the Pride Detroit podcast. If all those guys are firing on all of their cylinders, however many cylinders they've got left in the chamber, that's an above average defensive line. Maybe even a good, or I won't quite say great, but a good one.
Yeah, I think we're fine on the defensive line, but again, I want to see like more progress in the backfield right now, just because like, okay, it's been looking decent, but it's also been about against the Jaguars and the Falcons. Like, my worry isn't the middle of the schedule right now. My worry the fear comes later, as I said in Stock Report. The fear comes later when they have to turn around and play the Bears, who may or may not be good. I'm immediately eating crow after the last podcast, after what the Rams did to them, but might just been a bad game. I don't know. Either way, the Bears could still beat us another time. That's not a instant dub right there. Packers, Titans, Bucks, second meeting with the Vikings in January. And if the goal is to make the playoffs, you do need to kind of go a little harder than you usually have. I just don't think that standing two pad is going to really help you out. You kind of have to show that, man, you want it. Go for it. Do it. What do you have to lose? Like that's all I'm going to say. Like, we keep wringing our hands over draft capital and everything, but what do you have to lose here, man?
Draft capital. That's something.
Yeah, I don't care. After the day one, I don't care about a lot of the draft capital. I'm sorry. I just don't. I'm a dumb rhesus monkey, but honestly, dumb racist monkey moves work in the NFL sometimes because, as we were just talking about during the break, like you can't really sell the farm necessarily unless you package a strange deal. Like who was the team that did that? Damn, never mind. I've completely forgotten my point.
But I guess
adequate.
my overall point is this team is about to face some good quarterbacks. There's a lot of really good quarterbacks left on their schedule. Tannehill's left on the schedule. I know that's a weird one to lead off with, but it's true. You got Tom Brady. You've got Aaron Rodgers. You've got Deshaun Watson. You're going to need to rattle some of these guys.
Teddy Bridgewater.
Teddy Bridgewater, maybe, if he's playing for them. The thing is, like, they don't give me that look.
I'm so offended if he's playing for them. Teddy Bridgewater's a good quarterback so far this year, but go ahead.
But what they can't do is just sit back and let them pick them apart, because that's what they've let them do against good quarterbacks, and Matt Ryan did it last week too. But we saw what the Bucks did to Aaron Rodgers, right? Everson Griffen doesn't make the Lions defensive front the Tampa Bay Bucks defensive front, but it gets them closer. It gets them closer, and it gives them some options to rattle a guy like Aaron Rodgers, because they can't let Aaron Rodgers pick him apart again.
Jeremy, I want you to get to the one interesting similarity we can see between this trade and another trade that Bob Quinn made in 2018.
Yeah, real quick.
Let's talk about it.
I've got to put my own complaints aside because now we're too late into this, and I had a lot more points. But no, I want to get to this, and I want to get to some questions from chat.
Well, the elephant in the room is, yes, there are a lot of on the surface similarities to the Lions at 3-3, just like they were in 2018, going out and trading for Damon Harrison. We all threw a party then because, wow, what a humongous run defender! He's going to turn around our run defense, turn around our entire season, and he didn't do that. And yeah, it looked great. And then, of course, a week later, they lose to the Seahawks. They trade Golden Tate away, and the rest is history. I don't know where else you want me to go with this. Like, Everson Griffen is probably not as good as Damon Harrison was when they traded for them. The Lions could certainly go out and lose to the Colts, and then who knows what they do in the day or two before the trade deadline after that. But
trade Marvin Jones.
The difference, I will say, is like, I don't know if I felt... Nah, that's not even true. I was going to say, I don't know if I felt the Lions were trending in the right direction back in 2018, but that's a lie. I did, because they just came off that big win against the Dolphins.
They did rattle off a couple of 3-game win streaks in that season, if I remember as well, unless I'm thinking about the wrong season. But yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. Like, what else do you want to talk about in terms of the similarity there? Is there a point I'm missing there?
Well, no. I mean, I think
I wanted to throw that out like a hot steaming turd. That's all.
Well, I think the point is, and you made it, is that Damon Harrison came in and he really did change the Lions' run defense. The Lions' run defense went from one of the worst in the league to a little bit actually above average. I don't know if Everson Griffen is going to come in here and all of a sudden make the Lions that really bad pass rush unit into the average, maybe slightly above average pass rush unit. But if he does, I almost think that it has a bigger impact on the Lions defense and maybe even their team as a whole than the Damon Harrison move does, which is really weird for me to say, because on paper, I think I would rather the Lions go out and get another Damon Harrison-esque 2018 player and add him to the run defense than to add Everson Griffen, who is kind of like a mystery, but it's it could be interesting.
All right, let's get to some questions here to wrap up before we get out of here. I know there's a couple in Twitch chat right now. Again, twitch.tv/Pride of Detroit. Jeremy, do you have them picked out?
Yeah, let me scroll up really quick, but I should be able to pick them out real quick. Joshua Mercer asks, Griffin doesn't know the defense yet, but do you think Patricia tries to piece him in? Yeah, I mean, I think you look at Griffin, and he's been around the league for 11 seasons now. He's probably seen it all, and I know we mentioned the top. He's a 4-3 guy. This will be a little bit different from him, but I think the key for the Lions is they'll put him in a position where he's been before on those third downs. Be that situational guy and just be like, rush the passer. You don't need to know the scheme. Just rush the passer. Just go do what you do. Rush the passer. You don't need to learn all this complicated stuff. And maybe he eventually gets down there. But honestly, you're here for a half a season. You know you know what he does well. You put him in positions where he does things well, and don't overcomplicate things for him.
The other nice thing is that he's not going to come in and immediately play this week against Indianapolis. He has to wait another week because of COVID protocol. So he does get that kind of like extra week, right? To prepare.
And we haven't even mentioned it yet. Who does he get to play? First game of the season for him.
Skull.
Minnesota Vikings. Yeah. That's going to be a fun one.
It's going to be a weird revenge one.
And I don't think that was necessarily a marriage that ended very happily.
No, it did not.
Opted out. I mean, he voluntarily opted out.
Yeah.
Yeah, I have this question here. I'm trying to find who it came from. I apologize. I didn't copy down the name. Believe they ask us, believe last time that the Lions picked up a defensive lineman in a trade, corresponding trade happened with a wide receiver. Do you think history repeats itself?
I mean, I just said, like, what if Marvin Jones is the guy who gets traded?
That seems likely, just between the up and down production of Marvin Jones, the contract involved, the fact that you've got some younger guys who can perform among your wide receivers, that you've got a veteran like Amendola in the slot, and TJ Hawkinson is your tight end.
But I think with the way that Marvin Jones played last week against Atlanta, that should have been a reminder that, like, he is still a sure-handed guy who's going to catch you passes when you need passes catched. I know that's hashtag analysis, but I'm saying like Marvin Jones is a veteran dude that like you want to have on your team. And I think that if they, trade him the same way that they traded Golden Tate back in 2018, it's kind of like wiping your hands with the season, isn't it?
I don't really. Here's the thing.
A little bit, but I would say this, and like the only reservation I have about Marvin Jones, I know a lot of people are rushing, like, as you say, it's easy now to rush and say, hey, he's he reminded you this game. Cool. But I remember when he was with Cincinnati for a long time, and like he would put up one of these games and then ghost.
Right.
So I want to, like, what I've always wanted to see out of Marvin Jones, and it's always something I've wanted to see in Detroit, is just consistency. So you'll have a chance for consistency next week. You have another week before the trade deadline, so I don't think anything gets moved by then. So, but still, like, I'm not going to give Marvin Jones this just on one game, is my point.
I wouldn't compare it. I think it's still a possibility. A lot depends on what happens in this next game against Indy, but I think the Lions are definitely in a better position trading away Marvin Jones than they were against Golden Tate, because they didn't have a backup slot that year. I don't even remember who came in. And that goes to show you that they weren't prepared.
Yeah, depth was bad at wide receiver that year.
Yeah, Marvin Jones leaves. Guess what? Quintus Cephas time. I'm okay with that. He looked okay in week 1, right? I mean, it's not. He's not as talented. He's not going to come in and catch 60 and a touchdown, but he's someone who I think we expect to have a future in Detroit. And so if he has to take over, I don't know if that's giving up on the season. It doesn't feel like it to me. It feels like potentially just getting, I don't know, 4th rounder out of someone that's probably not going to be on the team in 2021. It's not a horrible move, but it doesn't make the team better. And so
especially if you
that's
important
to point out.
Yeah, especially if you can take that capital you would get from Jones, then flip it for another trade in the middle of a season.
Well, you probably can't at this point. Trade deadline.
That would have to happen pretty quick. But like, you don't care about draft capital after day 1, right?
Nope, really don't. I just don't. I leave day 2 to the nerds like you guys. I would say this though. Like you mentioned, just as a parting thought, like this trade deadline does feel really, really early for various reasons. And it kind of sucks because once again, the Lions have already taken their bye. And by the time the deadline comes, there's still going to be like 10 weeks left of the season. It feels like, wow, 9
games left. Yeah.
It's hard to figure this thing out because I'm sure by near the end of the season, we're going to be looking at the draft and talking about needs that they could have filled during a trade deadline. So,
the best thing that the Lions could acquire, an extra bye week. Like if someone breaks COVID protocol and they get an extra bye week, that's the thing that would help them the most. How much
would you pay for an extra bye week?
I don't want anybody to get sick.
A 5th rounder?
No. I buy that for $1. I think that's a good place to stop it right there. We're over time. So let's stop it right here. We'll have more for you coming up later in the week. First Bite is coming. Man coverage is coming. And then the full Pride of Detroit POD cast. Maybe a mailbag episode somewhere in there too in the next week or two. And we'll definitely have trade deadline reactions as well if the Lions continue to make moves, which cross your fingers. For me, cross your fingers. For these other guys, I don't know if they think as much. But
Meh.
yes, do it. Do it. Go nuts. You want to get nuts? Let's get nuts.
Supermarket sweep it. Just grab that golden ham.
Here
Throw
I
it
was
in your
going for a
shop.
Batman. I was going for a Batman thing, and you have to throw that for like just in there. Like we're just awful. We're awful.
Stay away
human
from the
beings.
coffee grinder.
Yeah, that's a waste of time.
I already have one. For myself, for Jeremy, for Ryan, we'll see you Starside. Okay, we're out.
All right, I'm gonna go before I get divorced.
Okay. We'll stick
Before
around
you're-
for the rest of Twitch chat here, but everyone say goodbye to Ryan.
Bye, Ryan.
Goodbye to Craig.
Bye, Craig.
Craig already left, but you guys don't even know Craig exists. All right, let me
We tell people about Craig.
quickly answer your listcast because I see some listcasts already in the chat for the top 5 Matthew Stafford throws of all time. Let me start with the sideline throw to Chris Durham on the game-winning drive against Dallas. That's number 1 for me in terms of talent, in terms of speed, in terms of in-game importance. That's number 1 for me. Number 2, let's go the Kansas City throw in between the 4 defenders last year. That was incredible. Number 3, Cleveland. The separated shoulder throw. Cleveland. I just realized so far my list is exactly the same as yours, NK. I'm running out of ideas though.
Nothing from 2016.
That throw he made to, who was it? Theo Riddick, I think, against the Dolphins. I think it was a comeback win against the
Yeah.
Dolphins. That one was pretty good.
Man, the thing is like I can't even give him because the most memorable throw I remember from 2016 is technically it was all on Golden Tate because Tate was the one who took it to the house and
Yeah.
butt hit wasn't Xavier Rhodes, it was someone else.
Oh, yeah, their safety, Harrison Smith, I think.
No, it might have been Xavier Rhodes actually. I'm an idiot.
Shoot, I
don't
can't think of
remember
another good
Come
one
on,
right off the top of my head. What's another great Stafford throw? I don't want like. The problem is like a lot of the iconic plays that he's thrown is like they're ones that were made great by the receiver, like the triple
Yeah.
coverage.
Like again, the Golden Tate.
Calvin,
Yeah.
There's got to be another one that I'm not thinking of. Did you watch the Colts tape yet? No, I did not. I was still going to rewatch last week Atlanta tonight, and then this threw everything off. So my Colts stuff has been pushed back a day. Hopefully I'll get to it by tomorrow.
I'm busy with cold brew and video games.
There you go.
The
Thanksgiving
one to
game.
Anquan Bolden. Which one? I think I know the one you're talking about. Seaworth.
Oh yeah, he
Seaworth,
won.
Hold on. What was that name? Seaworth in Seaworth and Esaware? Oh, fuck. I remember one in 2016 to Bolden. Do you remember which one that was? It was
It was a
against the,
comeback against the Eagles, I want to say. Did they have a comeback against the Eagles? What's this? What link am I clicking on? Oh, it was Sendejo.
Yeah, I think
Sendejo.
it was like the Eagles was like the first of their like win streak going.
Yeah. It was Washington. It was Washington. It was definitely Washington. Because
Yeah,
the thing I remembered about that game was the Skip Bayless tweet. That was like, congratulations to so-and-so for the big comeback win against the Lions. And
I remember it was like an 18-yarder, I believe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You guys are right. You guys are smart. That was a really good throw. Split just barely over the linebacker's head. Sure, that'll be my number 5. I'm sorry. I need more time to come up with a list like that, but that's definitely up there.
Shut down. Not that I'm ever smart anyway.
Galladay's first touchdown was awesome, but again, that one felt like it was because of Galladay. That diving catch against Arizona in his first game, definitely a great throw, but like made even greater by the diving catch.
Joshua Mercer, weird to think about how Golden Tate was a killer slot guy in Detroit and is not nearly as impressive now. Listen, man, you go from Matthew Stafford to Daniel Jones. And you start racking up years there too. Like, only so much, man. Only so much you can do. That's why I said on the mailbag episode, a lot of these guys we've just shipped off to just some bad spots for them to be in.
Skip needs to retire. Yeah. No, Skip doesn't have to retire because he's doing exactly what he wants to. He's being a heel, and you're all falling for it.
That's the whole point of watching that. It's so good.
Yeah.
Him with Shannon Sharp. I will say this as someone who enjoys roasting my brain, usually with sound off on a lot of that, but I enjoy, at the very least, the fact that Shannon Sharp, I think, is a better fit for him than Stephen A. ever was.
But here's a good question from Twitch chat. Whoops, sorry about that. Who do you think gets cut because of the Griffin trade? I hadn't even considered that for a second.
We should have probably thrown that in the podcast. Yeah, I'm an idiot.
That's fine.
Let me look at the.
I was also gonna look at the most recent transactions, and whoever was the last guy that was added to the team is probably the next one going.
Bo Scarborough.
I mean, it could be Bo Scarborough. Chris Jones is not on. Oh, that's right. Chris Jones got claimed. So Mike Ford, Bo Scarborough, the most recent guys. Man, I don't know.
It can't be Nick Williams, can it?
No. They're not going to let him go. Wow, that's actually a lot harder than I thought it would be. Huh. And you also have to consider once they activate I'm drawing a blank. Cornerback, slot corner. Why can't I think of names right now? Because it's late, and I know normally not working this late.
I'm just.
Justin Coleman, Julian Okwara, Austin Bryant. When these guys come back, what are they going to do? Maybe they don't bring back Austin Bryant at this point.
I think Bryant just gets released as soon as he's off the pup.
Here they have an option. He's not off the pup yet, but he's returning to practice. What they can do is put him on IR, and I think they might do that.
Yeah, I could see that.
Cut Jared Davis. I don't think so.
A couple of people saying Coleman in chat.
He was the guy I was talking about, Justin Coleman. They're going to have to make room for Justin Coleman as well. So they really have to cut two people probably this week, because I would imagine Justin Coleman might be ready this week to go. So Elijah Lee, first name that's jumping off. He's a special teams guy, but he's been inactive quite a bit. Got to come up with one more.
Jaron Curse.
I think they like him, man. They've been increasing his role.
Okay.
Maybe an offensive lineman. Maybe.
John Atkins on, because I know is he on IR or is he on PUP?
I think he opted out.
Did he opt out? Okay. Because I still see him on the depth chart.
What are you using, our lads?
No, I'm using ESPN.
Yeah, I think he opted out. Man, this is tough. Who would be the second? I think Elijah Lee is probably your guy for one of them. The second one is really hard though. Because if I had been using our lads, it says right next to John Atkins opt out. Just use the Detroit Lions depth chart. It's fine.
No, it's not.
I guess it could be Scarborough. Maybe they try to slip him back on the practice squad. Or they can't do David Blau because he'll get swiped up. Tony McRae, Mike Ford,
CJ Moore.
It could be. They are a little deep in secondary, and I don't know how many. Yeah, maybe it's
carrying
Mike
6 safeties right now.
Yeah,
could be Miles Killebrew.
I don't know. That's tough. Nada. Some people are saying Nada, maybe, but they. Well, here's the thing. Nada's on the practice squad again. They elevated him using the little practice squad designation thing, so he's back on the practice squad right now. He's not even on the main roster. He's not on the 53. Throw to Roberts at the 3-minute mark is your nomination for the top 5. All right, let me pull it up. This one? That's pretty ridiculous.
Oh, dude, no. Where did Ryan's thing go? No, where the fuck is it? There it is.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I mean, but we are listing the special teams players they like, but who else are you going to take?
You kind of have to take away
Ibushi is maybe the closest thing you've got. Maybe Matt Nelson. But, I mean, then who do you have as depth? Like, you need depth of guys that play on offense. You need starters on defense. Eventually, you're going to have to make a concession somewhere. And I think with Mike Ford back, that offers you a little bit of leeway in terms of special teams guy. So maybe Miles Killebrew is the guy. I don't think Miles Killebrew is the guy to go. I think maybe Tony McRae. Or CJ Moore or Mike, or maybe it's just Mike Ford. Maybe they brought him back last week. He only played about 10-15 special team snaps. Let him go. I don't know. I just feel like they have a little bit of wiggle room there with their special teams guys rather than really anywhere else in terms of their depth. So,
Horty, how can you forget how good that 2016 season was, man? I can't. I have a terrible memory ruined by just everything in my life, but I will never forget that 2016 season. The most fun I've ever had watching football.
They're not cutting Peterson, guys. Stop it.
No.
I know we kind of talked about it a little bit during the podcast, but no, it's not going to happen.
His full money. He's going to be fine.
Has Will Harris hurt his value enough to get stashed on the practice squad?
No.
Yikes. I hope not. But man, that's an interesting name to talk about right now too, because how many snaps did he get? Like 11?
Well, at least he was in and was smart enough not to try to tackle Todd Gurley.
Oh, I mean, maybe. Kind of looked like he tried for a second.
He tried it, but guess what, man? Like,
he was in for 6 snaps.
Some people were like, you post that screenshot, and some people were laughing at Falcons players, putting up their hands, celebrating a touchdown. Like, these guys are programmed like that. They're not thinking big, big brain moves like that. They're just not.
Yeah.
They think 6 points, good. Score while you got the chance.
Right. It's still bad, though. Conrad, I almost banned you for saying that. I know you said joking, but don't even joke about cutting Jack Fox. How dare you? How dare you?
I remember last time Prater had to do the punting. It did not look great at all. No
one wants that. Cut Patricia and make Stafford head coach and quarterback. Pretty sure that doesn't free up a roster spot, but I like where your head's at.
Cut Bevel and make Stafford the offensive coordinator.
Bevel's not taking up a roster spot, guys.
You can potentially trade for coaches.
You can.
It's happened before.
We're trying to open a roster spot here.
Well, if you can trade for coaches, does it not warrant that they should be worth a roster spot? It's like a phantom roster spot.
What does that mean? I don't know what that means.
It's just like a wild card you just throw out in the middle of a game or something. I don't know. Trufant to IR. I think Trufant's on the way back. He's not going to be out, and I think you need Trufant in the backfield right now.
He returned to practice, right? Like that happened.
Yeah, but after looking at that secondary against the Falcons, I don't know what Trufant adds. But right now, I would try adding something, is all I'm going to say. Like, that secondary was not good against the Falcons.
No. Do they cut Jesse James? No. I think they like what he's doing as a run blocker.
Jesse James could be trade bait, too.
Not with that contract.
No, Fana.
Fool Harris would have let Run Gurley go by. I think he would have had enough to stop. Maybe. I tried asking Matt Patricia about that. On Tuesday, he didn't really give me, or today's Tuesday. Yesterday, he didn't really give me an answer.
A guy like Logan Stenberg, the backup center.
No, I mean he's a 4th round rookie.
That's right.
He's a developmental dude. They don't want to touch him. I don't think the Lions have a lot of tradable pieces that they'd be able to survive with, which is why I think Marvin Jones remains really the only realistic option, because I do think they'd be able to keep their head above water if they traded Marvin Jones.
It's not even just a matter of like tradable pieces, but like look how hard it is that we're sitting here trying to figure out something to cut just to put Griffin on this roster too.
Right. Try to trade Jones, get another defensive piece. Kabinda. They love their
they're-
fullbacks. They love their
they're using-
fullbacks.
They're using Kabinda out there for certain packages. Marvin Hall. I think he's been doing decent though.
They like what Marvin Hall gives to them, but he doesn't. I mean, he hasn't really contributed much. He
hasn't.
12
they had
snaps last game. I don't know. Here's the best question of Twitch chat. Where the hell is the full Hawk mic'd up? Great question. I don't know why. Don't they usually release that like on Monday or Tuesday? They're
censored is what it's. It takes a while to censor that many beeps.
I've literally checked about 5 times today, and I'm gonna check right now as well. I'm checking their YouTube page.
As you can see, I'm struggling, so I'm gonna go pour myself some more cold brew.
Still no sights and sounds on YouTube. Let me look at their video on their website already has the preview for the Colts game up. Why don't they have the sights and sounds? What is going on? What are you hiding, Detroit Lions? What can't we see? I watched Atlanta has 2 players mic'd up from that game already. I'm going to go back and check when the sights and sounds from Jacksonville went up last week. Okay, you know what? It went up 6 days ago. So I guess they release it on Wednesdays. There you go. I guess there is no conspiracy theory here. Yeah, I think Lee is probably your first player release. Elijah Lee, special teams guy. That's about it. They could probably sneak him back on the practice squad if they like him that much. Elijah Lee seems like the only one that makes sense. The question is, who's the second one once Coleman is activated? But that's not a decision they have to make until Friday. Legit question, did the extra 3 yards on the last play give them more room to run the crossing route? Not sure if it was a huge detriment. Great question, Elgato, and it was one that Darrell Bevel was asked today, and he said, I was glad we were at the 11. So yeah, you're right. I think they preferred to be where they were, which I thought was kind of interesting. I get when you're in the red zone, you have a limited amount of room, and you'll take anything there, but I just can't help but think if they run a similar play, run a crossing pattern, and he stopped on the 1 yard line, how pissed off everyone is going to be at the end of the game once they realize that ball was pushed back 3 yards for literally no reason. But yeah, Darrell Bevel said he preferred, he was happy to, he didn't say he preferred to be at the 11 yard line. He said he was happy that they were at the 11 yard line. Yeah, that's all I got. But I thought the refs were cheating us. Listen, I never accused the refs of cheating. I mean, the refs made a mistake that in general I would say was a detriment to the team. Maybe the offensive coordinator prefers to be a couple yards back, but I think you ask any coach, would you prefer to be on an 11 yard line or a 9 yard line or 8 yard line? Everyone's going to take 8. Could Carry On be up for a trade? That
Back. Oh, God.
Well, let me throw this to you. Carry On Johnson on the trade block, yes or no?
Ooh. That's brutal. What am I getting back for him?
If I had to guess, you're not getting anything more than the 6th for him. That even might be being generous.
No.
No?
No.
Again, I think this is a case where the Lions just like what they got. They like Carry On being that third down pass protecting back, and he's doing a fantastic job at it. Like,
listen, I said it in my thing. Like, I think at this point, there's nothing that Carry On can't do. Let me try to rephrase it. Strike that. Let me try the English language again. There is nothing Adrian Peterson can't do that Carry On Johnson. Can do that Carry On Johnson can't. And as much as they're getting use out of Adrian Peterson, and it's going to be hard to trade him, like Carry On is basically like that's your future for your backfield. You're going to have Carry On and Swift.
Maybe
Like it's kind of hard to really. I don't know, man. Like his pass block grade, where did I put those PFF grades? Like
he's fantastic as a pass blocker. There's no question. My question is, will he ever grow out of just that role? Because that's essentially his only role right now. He's getting 2 touches a game or something crazy low like that, and that's fine. Like
Kerryon can take up those Adrian Peterson carries.
Can he though?
Yes.
What proof do you have of that? The Lions certainly don't think so, because they're not giving him any carries.
I think they're stupid not to give him carries.
Well, that's fair, if that's how you feel.
Yeah. Not always the smartest people are making the smart decisions.
It just, to me, it seems like such a waste to have each of their guys so specialized, right? Like, I understand you don't want to make anyone...
The main podcast, like, because it is so specialized, it's easy to tell what they're going to do.
Right.
Like I was talking with Jeremy off stream about this before we started, because I was going back and watching that 4th down conversion that got blown up on the Falcons goal line, where the Lions turned it over on downs, I think in the second quarter, where Michael Walker comes off the edge. And I mean, look, that's a hard assignment. TJ Hawkinson basically has to block Michael and one other defender out there. And he just ultimately, Hawkinson just can't get a grip on Walker, and he just goes right past him. But a run's coming because Adrian Peterson's in there. And this idea that Marvin Jones is coming on the jet sweep across to try to fool the Falcons, no one's going to bite on that because they know you have Adrian Peterson in there. You're telegraphing that it's going to be a run.
Yeah. Darrell Bevel almost admitted that directly. He said, he addressed that play and he said, listen, we had Marvin Jones. He was supposed to occupy a guy. He was supposed to draw the attention of a guy. It didn't. He went straight to Adrian Peterson and it didn't work. Yeah, because you had Adrian Peterson in there and you telegraphed it. But
that's my whole argument for Kerryon Johnson right now, is because I want that guy who can take those carries and be disguised a little bit like that. Because you put Kerryon out there, he might pass block.
Stop. I'm with you. And it's a tough, because I know the Lions, they like having everything specialized because they're keeping everybody fresh. They're not running any of their players into the ground. How many years in a row have we had a Lions running back go down and then suddenly their depth was nothing? They want to keep guys as fresh and as healthy for as deep into the season, because it's not just about getting efficient runs now. It's getting efficient runs in December when they're playing that really tough part of the schedule.
And I've been worried about this, that the later we get into November, the more Adrian Peterson's production is just going to drop off. He was not good in this game either when they even were handing him the ball. That's why I want to see Kerryon get more touches, because I don't know what we'll get in Kerryon. I know what I'm getting out of Adrian Peterson at this point. I'm getting 2.6 yards per average.
Yeah, That's what I'm getting at. You want to literally talk about declining as the season goes on. I'm going to pull up Adrian Peterson's stats. I'm going to try to zoom in here on his yards per carry per game.
Yeah.
6.6 in week 1, 5.9, 3.4, 3.3, 2.7, 2.6. Literally goes down every single week.
It is literally stonk line down, not stonks.
It's kind of incredible. Like, I'm almost impressed that he's managed to literally decrease it a little bit.
And look at those longs. He's not even getting more than since New Orleans, he's not getting more than 10 yards.
Yeah.
He's not getting into the secondary.
Yep. And so, maybe the plan is to slowly phase him out and put Bo Scarborough in that role, because now he's back and healthy. And I have no idea.
Bo has to pass block. He might be able to pass block. And if he can, then I'm more open to the idea of Kerryon Johnson. But can Bo Scarborough pass block?
I don't know. I don't think so. But I don't know. I don't know what the plan is with Bo Scarborough. He's returning to practice now. The Lions have about 14 days now to decide whether they're going to put him on the active roster or cut him, I think is the other option, or keep him on IR. I don't know. But either way, it's an interesting decision there, because at what point do you cut bait on Adrian Peterson? I don't think the Lions want to. I think they're just like, you know what? We just need to mix things up with him a little bit, get a little more creative, not make it so that when he's out there, he's getting the ball 70-80% of the time. But I don't know what the plan is with Bo Scarborough. I don't think they can trade him.
I'm sorry, it's AD, not AP, folks. Couldn't AP's declining play be due to the offense being too predictable when he's in? Yeah. Maybe we're kind of in a chicken and the egg scenario at this point, I feel like.
100%.
Yeah, I mean that's a tough one to answer, just because I don't think it is answerable unless you are just taking a side and just making that your take. Which, I mean, if you want to make a take out of it, yeah, sure. I think it is predictable, but I think part of that is also some of that blame will then have to be on, because they have asked Adrian Peterson to try to pass block a couple times. I think doesn't look good.
No. I did not expect them to cut CJ Anderson last year. Maybe they do with AD. Maybe, but if I'm being completely honest, I heard some rumblings that it wasn't just about CJ Anderson's lack of production, why he got cut. I'm just going to
Yeah, I'm looking. Peterson did have a pass block in the Falcons game.
One?
So, like,
One?
yeah, one.
Okay.
Yeah.
Good job.
What just kind of goes to the just, yeah.
Check Will Harris's latest tweet. Confirm Lions trading him. What does that mean? What does that mean?
God damn it! If we have to get everyone back in here.
No, I mean, I don't know. This is one of those weird, like, ambiguous tweets that you can read in a billion ways, but I'll pull it up on the stream anyways. It says, "God, I don't know where you're taking me, but I trust you."
Athletes fucking love writing like that, man. They love that shit. It makes divas out of even some of the most.
Well, no, I mean that's just a spiritual tweet to me. Like I see. I mean, athletes are notoriously very, very religious. That's just a very religious. I mean, he's probably going through a lot.
I'm very religious too, but I mean, maybe because I'm Catholic, I don't put that. I don't know. I'm not going out there really, quoting Psalms on my. I don't know. That's part of a different breed of an athlete, I guess, versus a regular person.
But I mean, we can talk right now about him potentially being a trade target, because
I think we even just literally talked about that. I mean, hell, he could be even a cut target, to be honest.
But there's really no. You save almost no money on a rookie cutting in the second year of his deal, but yeah, I mean, you want to talk about a guy who's been phased out. The guy started the year as a starter and now is getting, like we said, like 6-7 snaps a game.
It might just be that too. It's just he's basically getting, like, he's kind of realizing his role's getting reduced too. I'm sure he's aware of it.
Oh, hold on a second. Breaking news here. Everson Griffen speaks on Twitter. Says, I'll pull it up on stream as well. He says, "This year has been a journey for my family. I was so blessed to be able to spend this time with the Dallas Cowboys. I want to thank the Jones family and Coach McCarthy for the opportunity at Dallas Cowboys." We'll see if he has a follow-up about how – I think a lot of players usually do, like, the goodbye tweet and then the hello tweet. So I'll let you know if he says something else about joining the Lions.
It's fine. He's got to do some stuff and also update, his Twitter profile.
Yeah, right.
And the
Let's see if that
header
has been
image and
updated.
everything. And
that is nothing's been updated there yet. He's still Cowboys number 97.
It takes time.
Of course.
He's got to get his number for the Lions too. Probably also got to pass that physical. I'm sure his agent's like, "Hey, don't put anything in there until you do that."
True. And all that sort of stuff is going to take a little bit longer than normal. There's a reason why I'm almost certain he isn't eligible to play against the Colts this week, because he's got to pass, I think, 5 COVID tests with the Lions before he's even allowed in the building. So.
Yep, they taking it seriously, man. And even right now, like, there's some pretty heavy fines coming for some of these teams who have been breaking protocol. Like, I don't know when there will at some point this season be draft picks taken away from one of these teams.
Maybe.
Might happen against the Raiders, might happen against the Giants. I don't know, but someone's going to be made an example by the commissioner.
Hopefully everyone just gets their act together now. Hopefully enough of a message has been sent at this point, but you never know.
Yeah, I know, but like literally, like, how stupid were the Giants going out on the town like that? I don't know. And especially this time of year where cases are already spiking again. And in parts of Europe, like, people are going back into lockdowns, which is not going to happen here for various reasons. But I mean, that's just telling you, like, the everyone in sports has been so lucky with some of these positive tests that they just have none of these have hit complicating issues. Yeah, no. For those who didn't see, I think earlier this week, over the weekend, I think Daniel Jones and several members of the offensive line went out in New York without masks.
They just went to the bar or something, right? I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know anything about the story, to be honest.
Yeah, no, I know Saquon Barkley, Sterling Shepard, they basically went out partying in New York. Yeah, video surfaced on social media of Daniel Jones and Saquon Barkley out partying in New York City without masks.
Conrad, yeah, a couple of people already answered you there, but yeah, the conditional 6 means it could be up to a 5th round for Dallas, depending on conditions that we don't know yet. Usually it's something like snap count, so if they play a certain amount of snaps, or sometimes it's tied to accomplishments, so like sack numbers. But I think it's probably going to be like plays at least 40% of the snaps for the Lions or something like that. But yeah, it's going to be at least a 6. And if I saw correctly, the Lions don't have a 7th, so it is possible that they don't have a 6th or a 7th going into next year. Which
loaded areas, they don't care. Why would you when they're 1-6? I mean, if they start taking draft picks away, then they'll fucking care. Yeah.
Well, yeah. If those players start costing their own team draft picks, they're gonna start getting. I mean, plus they'll get fined. Like they'll straight up get fined.
Yeah. No, they have been finding. They fined the Titans, which I thought was a little wrong-headed that it happened to the Titans, but I kind of got it after the private workout thing. But yeah, when you like that's just stupid on the parts of those Giants players, like utterly ridiculous.
Is it possible Griffin was part of the internal anonymous disgruntled players complaining about Dallas coaches not being prepared? I can't speculate on that. I have no idea.
Really can't. I know he wasn't happy with his time in Dallas. I can't say, but I don't.
Do you? I don't know that. He just put out a tweet and said he loved it.
No, that's. I thought I had read he was unhappy there with a little bit. I might. You know what? We were looking at so many different trade baits today that I might have gotten it screwed up with someone else. But I think that tweet. I don't think that means much. That is the kind of tweet you make when, to be professional.
Okay, we have an official welcome tweet now from Everson Griffen. Y'all ready? He says, quote, "Our journey continues to the great city of Detroit. To the Detroit fans, y'all are getting a motherfucking dog ready to eat at Lions. Whoa. Thank you for blessing my family with another opportunity to be great. I can't fucking wait."
Great.
Chill, okay? It's Twitter.
I know what he's doing there. With the capital EG. I know, but
see y'all tomorrow. That is what I like to see right there. Throwing a couple motherfuckers in there. Why not? I'm right after we hang up this call, I'm writing an article about that. I don't care. He just okay. I thought you said he deleted his tweet. Yep, it's up there. There we go. Official words have been. The Lions still have not made the move official, but Everson Griffen has. Oh, there goes my headphones. Hold on. All right, I think I'm just about ready to jump off here because, like I said, this whole thing.
Yeah, I'm tired. I'm drinking more of my cold brew.
My schedule back. Time to eat. Yeah, let's go eat. Everson Griffen wants to eat. I'm ready to eat. Sheila Ford Hamp loves that language. Sure, why not? I mean, she's not that old. She might like it.
Who cares?
All right, everybody. We are going to be back here tomorrow, 7 p.m. We already got our Colts guests lined up. We're going to be talking Lions Colts. We'll probably put the Everson Griffen stuff in the rear view for a little bit because he probably won't play in that game. But big game coming up. Lions have a big opportunity to prove a lot of doubters wrong, to prove to themselves that they can compete against a good team. And yeah, we'll see what happens there. So
good team.
A good team.
Maybe.
It's
an interesting team. I'll give it that. Like, we've talked about how good their defense is. It's just going to be a matter of how good do you think Phillip Rivers still is. Sure. This could be a get-right game for him. It's kind of hard to tell.
His last game was pretty good. But I think what I don't want to see happen, and I feel like we've seen it a lot, is we're just like, as soon as the Lions beat them, they weren't that good anyways. The Cardinals weren't that good anyways. The Jaguars aren't that good anyways. The Falcons' offense wasn't that good anyways.
I don't think you can do that with the Cardinals, especially when they go out and just dump truck a couple teams.
Well, but at the time, that was kind of the narrative, right? It's like, oh, well, maybe they aren't ready to take that next step. Maybe Kyler Murray isn't that good. Maybe the Cardinals are bad.
Only 3 games into the season. If you're making those kind of justifications for anything other than where you're going to place teams in order to bet money on them, then
I don't want to see people, like, if the Lions were to win this game, you can't continue to dismiss them. You won 3 straight games in the
they'll
NFL.
be
That's not
4-3.
easy.
They'll be 4-3, depending what happens with the Bears next week. And I mean, the Bears are playing the Saints. That's not a. I mean, the Bears just got damn embarrassed by the Rams, and then they're playing the Saints. That is, if they lose that game, all of a sudden, all bets are off the table, man. You're a half a game back.
Yeah, they're not going to. Let's be clear. I think we all think they won't catch the Packers, but I think catching the Bears is certainly a possibility.
No, the Bears are doable because, like, I talk about how bad that the schedule is for the Lions to end the year, and that's still something you need to consider. But the Bears are about to hit that skid here a little bit in the middle of their season.
Yeah,
they play the Saints. They go on the road against the Titans. I mean, as we've seen, the Titans at home are rough to beat. Then they play the Vikings. Okay, fine, you might get that, but that's going to be on prime time, and the Vikings might be playing for a little bit of pride. Then they have to go to Lambeau to end November, and they play the Lions.
Toughest team on their schedule.
Stop it.
All right, we got to go. I keep saying we're going to go. Guys, we got to go. Thank y'all for joining us for our emergency podcast. If you missed any of it, it's going to be up on our podcast feeds overnight. We're going to put this whole video also up on YouTube. But until then, we'll see you guys tomorrow, 7 p.m. for our Lions Colts preview. Good night.
Bye.